Hello, I am Sagi, and welcome to another webinar of OpenLM. Today, we'll be taking a look at the agent, what it can do. We're going to take a look at all its different tiers and see what benefits it can give you. So first of all, I want to talk in general about the OpenLM Agent, the OpenLM App Manager. Just want to talk in general, and then I'll show you the OpenLM Active Agent, actual usage, all the extensions relating to the agent. I'll simply show them to you live. So first of all, what is the agent? What is it? Well, the OpenLM Agent is the component that sits on the workstation itself. Now, it enables for control of the workstation, of remote control over the workstation. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say that you want your users to ask other users for licenses. Maybe you want them to get notified and they don't have to come to you for licenses. You can get notified when they have a license free. Maybe you want to know what's going on after they've pulled a license. So someone might be pulling a license, using it for like 2 minutes, and then just keeps it open on the PC, but does nothing with it. It's totally idle. So the OpenLM agent enables you to do that. And let's say that you see that someone's idle. What would you like to do? Well, usually you probably close the workstation, you talk to them, do you release their license, but you do it manually. So it can be done using the active agent, and you can release the license automatically, meaning that it reaches a certain threshold, and from there, it just releases it automatically. But also, you'll be able to prevent users from pulling licenses in the first place. So all the things I've talked about that the agent can do, all of them are connected at one place, at one spot, increasing your license utilization and lowering downtime, idle times. Because if someone is fully using his application, or if he didn't just forget it on his computer, then you can increase your utilization if you have run a tight ship, if users know that they can't hold on to licenses because they know they're being watched. So you can tell their behavior as a result. But let's not talk in the air. Let's take a look. So the OpenLM agent has several tiers of operation. It's got the core tier. It's got the actual usage, which shows you idle time. The active agent, which allows for closing a session, and the app manager, which allows for preventing sessions from being opened. So let's take a look first at what the OpenLM agent can do in its core product. So the core product of OpenLM it's a part of the core license. You don't need an extension. And let's see what it gives you. First of all, it can give the client, the end user, it can give them some sort of interface for them to understand what's going on with licenses that they want to use. Now, what you're seeing right here is a workstation. It's a virtual machine workstation. So the view here is from the eyes of the end user himself. So what do we see here? Once he opened it, he goes here and clicks on license usage information. He's able to know exactly who is using what, meaning that let's say I'm an engineer and I want to use Publisher, ArcGIS Publisher. I come here and I see that we have 15 licenses. Currently, we have 3 used. So I have 2 available. I can pull the license if I want, or if it's maxed out, I can click on the license and then I see who is using the licenses actually, meaning that I see Charles, I see Alexis, I see Abby, Timothy. I see that when they started, and this way, as an end user, as an engineer, I will be able to call them up, tell them, hey, Elizabeth, I see you've been using it for such and such hours. Can you please release the license? So they can pretty much solve this on their own. They don't have to come to you to solve their licensing problems. One more thing that the agent can do, the core agent that is, it enables the end user to get notified once a license he's been denied from is free. So I have 2 workstations right here. I have this one, which I just opened AutoCAD right here, AutoCAD 2017. And now I will go to my other workstation and try to pull AutoCAD 2017 again. Now, all of you know that I am supposed to get denied right now. I shouldn't get the license because there are no more licenses left. I have only 1 license available for this. So checking license, and it's stuck on the license check stage. Well, up until here, all good. Nothing special really, we just got denied. So we click OK, we click OK. Now let's say that the other user is finished with AutoCAD. So he closes the application, and in about 3 minutes, this workstation will get a notification saying that the license has become available. Now, why is that good? Why do you care about that? If an engineer tries to get a license but gets denied, so what will he do? He will try to get the license again and again and again and again and again, maybe 50 times until he gets it. So that means that he's pretty much sitting on his hands. He can be out of a job for like 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe for the whole day he couldn't get a license. So if he can get notified about the license that was released for him to use, then he simply can go and do other things. He doesn't need to sit on his hands and click on it again and again until he gets the license. Now, this will come in about 2 to 3 minutes. Why? Why is that? Why the delay? Let's say that someone was using the license, but his computer shut down or internet temporarily went off. So it holds and doesn't notify for like 2 to 3 minutes. So the first guy will have a chance to go back and just continue using the application. The second option, let's put it here. Let's wait for it. Now this works. Oh, there we go. So you see, it says that this license, this feature you are looking for, has been released for use, meaning that this guy just released the license. It has been like 2 or 3 minutes and he didn't try to get the license back. So I got notified that it was released and I can try and get it. Now let's try and get it. Let's click on it. So now we see that we are getting the license. Once we do get the license, there are a few nifty things that we can do with the agent. So up until now, this was the core agent. This was unpaid, not an extra fee. It's an agent without the extra fee, meaning the core functionality of the agent. If you download it right now from the OpenLM downloads page, you set up an agent on a workstation, this functionality will be available to you right away. Now the agent itself is monitored, installed, using a silent rollout. You can either just double click next, and it's all installed, or you can use a silent rollout or GPO, where you can just simply broadcast the installation to all the different connected workstations. So users will not even know that they have the OpenLM agent installed, or they will know and not be able to close it. It's your choice. You choose what they see and what they don't see, meaning that this icon, it's optional. They can see it or you can deny it. You can deny different parts of this menu right here. So they have different access to different things. Now, let's say that I've opened AutoCAD, all right? But I'm not using it. It's either minimized or not using a lot of CPU usage, meaning that if it doesn't go over a certain threshold of CPU and memory usage, then this is considered idle. Because, for example, AutoCAD has a certain amount of processing power for idleness, but once you open it, once you play with it, then the CPU and memory go up and the operations per minute go up. And then the OpenLM system recognizes the session as an idle session and starts showing idle time. So let's go to the easy admin interface. And we see that we have one license and one license pulled. Let's go inside and see myself. So this is me. See, I'm from this group, this duration, and so on. Now it shows that I have about 30 seconds of idle time. Now it shows that I have 33 seconds here and about 31 seconds here. Why the difference? Well, this is app idle time, application idle time, and this is workstation idle time. Meaning that if you see the workstation, let's say workstation idle time is 10 hours, then you know that he wasn't at the workstation for 10 hours. He's home, maybe he didn't show up today, maybe he's in a very long meeting. If you see the recent application idle time rising, so you know that, well, he might be on the workstation, like you see the workstation idle time 0, meaning that he's doing something on the workstation, but it's not related to the app. He can use another app, he might be on Facebook, he might be doing something else, but not using the app. And to remind you, the application is open and the license is pulled, meaning that it's wasting licenses. Your utilization, the license availability decreased, your utilization decreased because it showed a false utilization, meaning that they pulled the license, used it 1 hour out of 10 hours. So the license was pulled for 10 hours, but only used for 1. So now let's say that we want to close the application. We recognize that this guy is using for too long, is idling for too long. I can even click on his graph and see when he went idle, when he went active, and so on. and I want to close his session. So I click Close App button. I click yes, and in about a minute, it will go to the workstation and close the application. We will even get a notification that AutoCAD was closed. So keep your eyes on the icon, the Autodesk icon, and on the bottom right screen. So in this case, oh, there we go. You see that AutoCAD was simply closed, and I have a window here telling me that the OpenLM agent recently closed AutoCAD at system administrator's request. Now this can be done also using the idle time threshold, as I said. So if it goes over a certain threshold, if it goes over a certain idle time threshold, then it simply releases the license or closes the application as I did now. So what are the options of closing the application? Because you probably think, oh, you closed the application, but what about the saved work? He probably worked on that. So it saves the data and closes the application. Once you close the application, the license is released back in the pool, and the data is saved, either just simply saved on the same file, or if it's a new file, then it's saved on a temp folder that you define. You define a certain temp folder on C drive, and it's saved there. Now, there are a few options depending on what you're using. So if you're using Autodesk, ArcGIS, MATLAB, or SolidWorks, then you will be able to use the active agent. The active agent is the save and close method. What you've seen right here, it saves the work and closes the application, and the license is released. Now, let's say that you're not using one of these four applications, MATLAB, SolidWorks, ArcGIS, and Autodesk. Let's say that you're using NX, you're using Siemens application, for example. So for any application which is working with FlexLM, you can use the suspend release method. Just like it sounds, it suspends the process, suspends the application, and releases the license. But this is again only for FlexLM applications. Now, once a license has been released, the user cannot access the application because its process is frozen. It's just frozen in place. Once he wants to get the license back, he will have to click on the agent notification, click open, and only then it will try and look for a license. It will get a license if the license is available and unfreeze the application, unfreeze the process. Now, these are the two options. Now, there's also a third option because we've talked about the big four, meaning ArcGIS, Autodesk, MATLAB, and SolidWorks. We've talked about a solution for FlexLM managed applications, but what about other applications? Pretty much any application. Well, for that, you can do two things. One of them is called agent procedures. So we had the save and close, that's for the big four. We have the suspend resume, that's only for FlexLM. And we have the agent procedures, which is for all types of applications, all types of licenses, license managers, everything. So what it does, it simply kills the process. It violently kills the process. So you can either do it gracefully if you're using FlexLM, or you can do it brutally if you're not using FlexLM and simply kill the process. Now, if killing the process is not good for you, it's a bit harsh for you, then you can also use custom commands. What does that mean? Let's say that you want the agent to pop up a notification. You don't want it to do anything besides pop up a notification. Maybe run another software that you have there. Maybe log the user out. Whatever you do, whatever you choose to do, because the agent will be kind of like a vessel for you to transmit your CMD script. So you can set that if the idle time threshold goes over, let's say, 5 hours of idle time, then you can set his system to notify him, the end user himself. The system will tell him that, hey, you've been idle for too long, or it will log him out, or maybe it will freeze his workstation, whatever you choose. It's a CMD process. You have full control over it. So you can also do that with any of the applications. But what if you're talking about applications which are simply not managed under any license manager or that are not floating licenses? For example, you might have a few named licenses along with your floating license pool. So OpenLM also has a solution for that. We have the OpenLM App Manager. Now the App Manager also is using the OpenLM Agent. Now this is the App Manager. As I said, it allows to track hybrid licensing, node lock, named lock, single use, network license, just about everything. And you can show them together with the floating licenses, or you can separate them, however you choose. So let's take a look at which applications I have here. Now I've selected them to show you its capabilities from the smallest application to the largest. So we got Autodesk right here, for example. So Autodesk is both floating license and named licenses. I've got Microsoft Visual Studio, for example, which uses a named license, a Photoshop that doesn't really use a license, it's just an installed software. We got MATLAB, we got, I added also pzip, which is like Notepad or something, it's like WinZip, just to show you that it tracks everything. Floating licenses, named licenses, applications without a license, small applications, custom applications that you create yourself, whatever you choose. So besides showing you monitoring, as it will display simply as a license server. You'll have like the OpenLM App Manager license server. Let me show you. And the App Manager will show up just like all the other license managers with all the features inside, with all the licenses that you define and the usage of it. So you can define a limit. Let's say that you have 1,000 licenses of Autodesk, but once you go to the 1,001 licenses, then you're billed twice, or you're billed for that license, or you're charged extra for that license. So you can set a limit so you won't go over your named licenses or floating licenses or whatever, because some vendors they just let you get more licenses. You want 1001, 1002, no problem, take it, but you'll pay for it. So you can use this to limit the usage. And once you try to open it, it will prevent the application from being opened. So let's do a demonstration of that. Now I have one license of Autodesk, so I'm going to put it at 0 just for demonstration purposes. And I'm going to try and pull an AutoCAD license. So I double click on AutoCAD and I get this message saying that application AutoCAD cannot be launched, license limit reached. This way I can ensure that no one will pull a license beyond the my license quantity. But what else can it help me do? So let's put it back. It was 1. Whoops. That's the unlimited for now. So the license of AutoCAD or Autodesk, MATLAB, where Photoshop, just about anything that you define, you can add your own vendors in there. You can add like any vendor that you want with any application that you want. And it allows you to set criteria and different conditions on license checkouts. So what are we seeing here? These are some of the rules I've created in order to demonstrate the power of the App Manager. So the App Manager can restrict or allow usage and license checkouts of certain applications using criteria that you can string together. So for example, I have here a rule that if the application is Autodesk and if it's version 2017, and if it's between 8 and 9, like USA working hours or whichever hours you choose, then it should be denied. Deny usage for those hours. You can do it also by a specific group, by a specific username, by a specific workstation. For example, you can define that a certain group will only be able to interact with ArcGIS, or will only be able to interact with MATLAB or something. You can define that users will only be able to pull and use a certain version, because maybe you want them only to use 2019. So you can define a condition for them to only be able to use that version. You can also set the working hours so you can use the same server just all over the world. You can have it follow the sun, meaning that you can have users from USA get denied on Chinese working hours, and users from China get denied on USA working hours. So there will not be an overlap, and the same license server will be used across the world. But okay, I denied it right here. Now I'm supposed to get denied if I try to pull AutoCAD license. So I double click right here and I get denied. Access denied due to normal USA working hours rule. Now I know it's not exactly USA working hours, but this is the rule, name of the rule right here. You can set it to whatever you want, of course, but this is the name. So you see that you can string those together, allow and deny different applications, different users, whatever you choose. Simply allow and deny it and string all these new rules together to get pretty much something similar to an options file of FlexLM. Options file allows you to restrict usage, allow usage, and so on, and reserve usage. So this allows you to pretty much do the same for all types of applications, named licenses, node lock licenses, just any application, custom application, whatever you choose. So why is that good? Why should you care about named licenses? Because a named license is one user, one license, that's it, right? But no, it's a bit more than that, because it's one user, one license, yeah. But what if that user is using 1 hour a day, or maybe using 1 day a week? Then that guy can get a floating license. He doesn't need to have a named license. Then you can get someone from the floating license pool that uses like 10 hours a day, every day, and just give him a named license, which is cheaper. And this way you can mix and match and know exactly who should be using what. So I pretty much finished the presentation of the agent. Before I take questions, I just want to do a quick recap. So we've seen the agent core functionality, meaning that it can show the end user what's going on with the licenses and who is using them. It can notify the user when a license he was denied from gets freed up. It can show you the idle time for the sessions, meaning who is using and if they're actually using them, the licenses. We've seen that we're able to release licenses, close applications, suspend applications. We're able to do many different things to those idling sessions. And also, we've seen that we're able to prevent usage, prevent users from pulling licenses. And we can do that on certain rules and criteria that we define. So now I'll move on to the Q&A session. I'm going to take like 10 minutes and answer your questions. So go ahead. I see I have another one right here. You have the first one, or John. Hey, John. Does that work with, say, Office? Now, if you're referring to the App Manager, then yes, it can work with Office applications, providing that they have a process. If you're using like a cloud-based Office that doesn't have a process running on the workstation, meaning that you just go online, you put in your password or something on the Microsoft site, and then you work from there online, and you don't have any application open on your system, then we can't do anything with that. It's fully cloud. We're not Microsoft. We can't connect with that. But if it's Office that runs on your PC, you have it installed, or maybe you have something installed there that runs a process to track, then OpenLM will indeed be able to work with Office. I have another question. How does the agent recognize the product name? Also, does it show the quantity being used? E.g., example, pzip, quantity being used. So it knows what's being used right now because you set a process name. Because, for example, AutoCAD, the process name is ACAD. In all workstations, it's ACAD. So you track wherever ACAD starts running. It tracks the ID of the process and knows that, oh, here, here, and here, I have ACAD process running. About the total quantity, it doesn't know the total quantity. You have to set that. So let me show you. If we go back to the App Manager right here, so you see I have set the limit. I have set the license quantity of it. Now this is only providing that you're not using a license manager. If you are using a license manager, and let's say that it's floating licenses or something, then it takes a look at the data coming from the license manager. But if it doesn't have a license manager like Office or something, then it relies on what you input. And yeah, and that's it. I think I answered you fully. Okay, keep them coming. I'm here for a few minutes more. So go ahead if you have any questions. Okay, meanwhile, just want to show you another quick feature just to catch your eye and show you. You're also able to return a license when Workstation is hibernating. What does that mean? That let's say that a user has gone home and he forgot the license pulled, he forgot the application open. So once his workstation goes to hibernate mode, it just releases the license back in the pool. So it's another cool feature that it has. I have another question. Does each product being added manual, or is there a dictionary? Each product, if you are referring to the app manager, you need to configure it manually. If you're talking about the active agent, then it's not really manual. You don't have to do it for each vendor. If you're talking about the active agent, so let's go right here, process features. Then you set for a certain process, but you got all the features inside. So it tracks all those different features for this process. Now, if you are talking about the app manager right here, so yeah, you have to do it one by one, but also you can do it automatically using the agent. You can do it, use automatic procedure detection, a product detection. So it detects your products automatically, and if it has them defined right here, then they will also be defined on the agent, and they will be able to talk to each other. But it will be sent from the agent to the app manager, so you'll be able to decide. It will send you a full list. Is there a report that shows all the active sessions of the selected installed non-licensed manager product? Sorry about that. Say Office, having set it up in the app manager. Active sessions. So it will be the same, as I said, as a license manager. So the currently consumed licenses screen that shows you the currently consumed licenses for whichever server you define. So it will be the same as another server. On the left here, you have all your servers, and you also have the app manager server. So you'll be able to differentiate between them. And then you'll be able to see the active sessions. You'll be able to see the session list in the license activity. Now, again, it's the same. All the reports are just the same. But as you see, you just need to select the app manager, and that's it. Just like another license server, the vendors itself are just like normal vendors you got. Oh, you're most welcome, John. Did not quite understand features. What do you mean by features? In which part? Please be more specific so I can explain. Previous screen under reporting. Reports. Right here, you mean? The license activity, maybe? So App Manager, and we select its features. We selected App Manager just like we select ArcGIS or any other license server. And then we just select the features. And what are the features? What I put here. These are the features. MATLAB, ArcMap, pzip, and so on. So filter, MATLAB, Power BI, Autodesk, just the same. So I can choose them. Let's choose them all even. Select. And everything is the same as a normal license server. Just like you have a FlexLM license server, like you have a DSLS license server, everything is the same. One moment. Well, it's taking a moment. Let's maybe refresh it. Okay, it seems that I'm having a bit of technical issues, I think. Running a bit slow. Someone's probably like doing QA on the server. But anyway, it's the same as a normal report. Just select the license server, the features, and that's it. Let's go back there. Okay, you're welcome. There we go. So we selected a feature. We got that feature. I see Daniel has been working on it. Autodesk. That's it. Okay, guys, if nobody has any further questions, I will thank you very much for joining me. I hope this was informative. I hope you learned a bit about how OpenLM can empower your end user and your engineers, and just take a bit of load off your shoulders and give it to your end users. They probably can govern themselves, and you probably need to know what's going on with them. So I hope it helped you to understand how OpenLM allows you to do that. So thank you guys. Thanks very much. Okay, thank you guys. Bye, have a great day.